1 minute. Okay, so I think you have get the section. So we are going to study about the animal kingdom. I think you have get about the level of organization that we have studied in the last class. Today we are going to study about the symmetry. Okay, so today we are going to study about the symmetry. Okay, today we are going to study about the symmetry, and the page number is 47. Okay, 47 page number. Okay, we are going to study about symmetry. Sorry, intermittently there are many messages are coming, so that's the sound you heard hearing. So sorry for that. You just don't want to hear that. So I think I want to use some time for you to read. No. Now after all that we will give time for reading and writing. So we are starting to say something about the symmetry. Yeah, what is symmetry means? Okay, what is symmetry means? Okay, what is symmetry means? So animals can be categorized on the basis of the symmetry. And when we are saying about sponges, okay, when we are saying about the sponges are asymmetrical. Okay, asymmetrical, sorry, asymmetrical. Okay, that is any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal half. What is asymmetrical means? Yes, any plane that passes through. Okay, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. Okay, so any plane that when we are saying about that, if any plane passing through that, so if we are taking a shape like this, we can say it is symmetrical, because if it is go through like this, we will get two equal halves. That means symmetrical. Okay, that means symmetrical. But in case of sponges, what they have said that if it will be like this, the sponges will be not sponges. If any organisms like this, we can see that what there will be like this. There will be like this. So it can't be said that it is what we say symmetrically. We can't get, if it going through any plane. Okay, if it is going through any plane, we can say that it is not symmetrical, because it can't make two equal halves. It can't make two equal halves, so it is known as the asymmetrical. Okay, so if when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, just opposite to the asymmetrical. Okay, so if when any plane passing through the central axis, okay, so when any plane, okay, when any plane passing through the center gives the identical halves. It gives the God. gives the two identical halves. Okay, if it is giving the two identical halves, okay, it is known as the radial symmetry. It is known as the radial symmetry. So we have said about asymmetrical and radial symmetry, that is animals can be categorized on the basis of the symmetry, and sponges like organisms show asymmetrical, which means any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. Okay, so when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is known as the radial symmetry. Okay, so when we are saying about the radial symmetry, we want to say that coelenterates, ctenophores, echinoderms. Okay. Ctenophores and echinoderms. Echinoderms shows this kind of body plan, okay, radial symmetry of body plan. Okay, and next is bilateral symmetry. Okay, next is the bilateral symmetry. What is bilateral symmetry? So we have studied asymmetrical, radial symmetry, and next is bilateral symmetry. What is bilateral symmetry means? Yes, the body can be divided into identical left and right halves. Okay, identical left and right halves in only one plane. Okay, it can make identical in one plane is known as bilateral. Okay, in one plane is known as the bilateral, and examples for bilateral are annelids, arthropods. Annelids and arthropods. Okay, so what we have said that animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical, so any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. So when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organisms into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. Okay, so when we are saying about coelenterates, ctenophores and echinoderms, they will show radial symmetry, and animals like annelids, arthropods will show bilateral symmetry, which means where the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in one plane, only in one plane. Okay, which is known as the bilateral symmetry. So these are about the symmetry. So you can write it, and after that we can get into the next section, that is diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Okay, right. So I think that you get symmetry. Okay. Next is the triploblastic or diploblastic organization. Diploblastic and triploblastic. Diploblastic and triploblastic. Okay. What is diploblastic and triploblastic? So animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers. Okay. Animals there will be two layers. Two layers will be there, and one is known as ectoderm, and then the internal are known as the endoderm. External is known as the ectoderm, and the internal is known as the endoderm. Okay, which are called as the diploblastic. Okay, it is known as the diploblastic. Okay, the animals which have two layers, like the external ectoderm, internal endoderm, it is known as the diploblastic animals. Okay, example, cylindrids. Okay, cylindrids. Okay, so in some cases there will be a undifferentiated level. There will be a undifferentiated layer in between endoderm and the ectoderm. Okay, which is now those animals which belongs to has third germinal layer. Okay, if this organisms produce embryo, there will be third germinal layer. Okay, third germinal layer. Okay, so that is known as the mesoderm. Okay, that is known as the mesoderm. That is known as the mesoderm. Okay, that is known as the mesoderm. In between the ectoderm and endoderm. In between this third germ, that is mesoderm. In between endoderm, and this type of organisms or this type of animals is known as the triploblastic. Triploblastic animals. So the examples are Platyhelminthes and chordates. Okay, Platyhelminthes and chordates. So what we have said? So yes, what you have said? Animals in which the cells are arranged in two layers, two embryonic layers, as an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm are called as the diploblastic animals. That means the cylindrids are the example for this diploblastic. So an undifferentiated layer, that is mesoglea, is present in between the ectoderm. Okay, undifferentiated and mesoglia is present in between the endoderm and ectoderm. Okay, so the animals in which the development of this mesoglea, which is known as mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, and these types of animals is known as the triploblastic. Okay, what is triploblast? And so this triploblastic, the examples for this triploblastic animals are coelenterates, sorry, the platyhelminthes and the chordates. Okay, so I think you have understood. After that, we will draw the structure of it. Okay, and we will get the structure of it. Okay, okay, you draw it. Sorry, write it. Okay, so the next one is the coelom. Okay, coelom. So I think this is the last section that I can teach you today. The next is the coelom. This is page number 48. Okay, coelom. Okay, coelom. So the presence or absence of the cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important classification. Presence or absence. Okay, presence or absence of cavity. This is presence. Okay. Body cavity in between the body cavity in between body wall and gut wall. Okay, gut wall is very important. Okay, it is very important. Okay, so the body cavity which is lined, okay, the body cavity which is lined mesoderm, okay, is known as the coelom. It is known as the coelom, and the animals possessing coelom is known as the coelomids. Okay, coelomids. Example for this are annelids, okay, mollusks, arthropod, okay, arthropod, echinoderms, okay, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. Okay, so what we have said, the presence or absence of cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important in classification. So the body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called the coelom, and animals possessing coelom are called the coelomids. Example, annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. Okay. Okay, so what we know as the pseudocoelomids or coelomids. Yes, pseudocoelomids means in some animals. Pseudocoelomids. In case of pseudocoelomids, what will be? There will be no lines. There will be no lines. Okay, no lines in the mesoderm. So instead of that, where will be the lines? The lines will be in the lines of the mesoderm. Not lined by mesoderm. Sorry, non lines by mesoderm. Okay, by mesoderm. Body cavity is lined by mesoderm, and here the body cavity is not. In the body cavity, there are no lines by the mesoderm. Instead of that, where will be the mesoderm will present? Mesoderm is present at the scattered pouches in between the in between ectoderm and endoderm. Okay, this is known as the pseudocoelomids. But yes, in some animals, the body cavity is not lined by the mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as the scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm, and such a body cavity is called pseudocoelom. And the pseudocoelom possessing animals is known as the pseudocoelomids. Example, Aschelminthes. Okay. Aschelminthes. Okay. Next is coelomids. Coelomids means the animals in which the body cavity is absent. The animals in which the body cavity is absent is known as the coelomids. Okay, example, Platyhelminthes. So what we have said, presence or absence of cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important classification. So the body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called the coelom, and the animal possessing coelom is known as the coelomates. And the examples are annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, and hemichordates and chordates. And some animals, the body cavity is not lined by the mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as the scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. And such a body cavity is called as the pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called as the pseudocoelomates. Example, Ascalminthus. And the animals in which the body cavity is absent is known as the coelomates, and the example is Platyhelminthes. Okay, so write it. I am concluding this class now. We will study about the next the next categorization of this animal kingdom in the next class. Thank you for listening. Stay home, stay safe.